Benevolence, dear mortals, you can call me Whimsical William. Welcome to my channel. Alright, so in this video, I'm gonna switch it way up. Usually I'm talking about fandoms, nerdy stuff, video games, manga, anime, etc. But this time, I want to talk about something that's been on my mind for years, but I just never had the words for it. I am an adult beginner violinist. As you can see, I did that G minor melodic scale, and it was, it wasn't perfect, but it was okay. But I've been playing violin for like 8 or 9 years, and it's been a struggle. Even though I have the childlike wonder in my mind where I could just enjoy something and I'm not afraid to sound bad or make mistakes. Once I want to do something, I'm just going to do it. And I think that is the secret weapon that children have in their mind. They're not afraid to mess up. They're not afraid to be quote unquote cringy. They just do it. They don't care about what people think. They're completely honest and pure. And I think that besides that, having the brain that's like a sponge, they can just simply absorb information. It's a beautiful thing, really. As an adult violinist, I wouldn't say I'm old, but I'm at that age where it's like I'm definitely not young. But as an adult musician, I spent most of my elementary school, middle school, and high school being an artist, someone who draws, a painter. I don't paint as much, but I do paint a little bit of watercolor and acrylic here and there, but I'm mostly known for pencil, and I really want to get known for color pencil because it's underrated. But I have regrets of not attempting to juggle music and art. I started off with music. I played recorder just like most children, but I dabbled in clarinet, went to a different school, and just stopped music for the rest of my schooling career. And I didn't envy my musician friends, but I always looked at them from a distance, almost wanting to be them or wanting to pick their brains and wanting to know what they knew. I knew, how to kind of read music a little bit. Like, I knew the musical alphabet E, F, well, I'm sorry, not E, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I know what sharp and flat was back when I was in middle school. I knew key signatures a little bit, but there really wasn't an instrument that moved my heart. And I believe in 2016, I just bought a bunch of instruments. I had a little bit of extra money lying around. I bought a flute. I had a keyboard. I got the keyboard because I figured that was going to be the way that I could really start digging into reading music and sight reading as well. And I really wanted to nerd out with music. I've loved music all my life. I love metal, R&B, hip hop, jazz. I want to say punk and hardcore, R&B, between Baroque, Romantic, and Classical. Those are like my favorite genres of music of all time. But hip hop is amazing. It doesn't always hit my heart like R&B does. Like R&B is like, it's crazy. Most people, like, when they see me, they don't know what I listen to, but I don't think they would think that I really love R&B. But I grew up on some hits like Aaliyah, Brandy, Prince. I mean, Prince isn't necessarily R&B, so we won't say that. Prince is so many unique things you could say about Prince's music, but he was a part of my childhood. Mint Condition, Lauryn Hill's kind of R&B, kind of hip hop. There was a lot of R&B there. Cisco was really cool. Usher, older R&B too, and almost like mixed with jazz as well. Like an artist that I think is super underrated that I think more people should listen to is Michael Franks. Michael Franks is absolutely incredible, and I think it teeters the line between R&B and jazz. It's incredible music. But anyway, I'm going on a tangent because tangents are fun, low-key. I want to talk about being an adult beginner musician. There's a lot of pride that gets in the way. When I first played all these instruments, I had saxophone, flute, piano, and ocarina was like a big inspiration for me. I still play ocarina a little bit, but I realized that playing music written by other people and just freestyling and making my own really brought me joy. It was speaking a language that didn't require words, yet you could still read it. Like, music is incredible. Like, your sheet music is a roadmap, and your tabs too. You know, if you're like a guitarist or you do another instrument that is popular with tabs, ocarina has tabs, but you read it, but it's not something that needs words to be understood and conveyed. And it expresses emotion as well as painting, and it does it in a way that can be calculated, I think, a little bit more than painting can. I think painting is a little bit more subjective, and I could be wrong. This is kind of like my opinion, but I feel like paint is, and art in general, as far as like drawing and visual media, I feel like it's more of a freestyle. Like, you're using these techniques to create this image that's in your mind or image that you saw in front of you. The rules are there to understand, to help you break them and make your own rules. And music is like that too. But when you're into classical music, you really don't break that many rules, especially if you're doing competitions or in an orchestra. In an orchestra or a symphony orchestra, the bow, like all their bows are like going the same direction, same speed. It's really beautiful to watch. If you ever get a chance to go to an orchestra, I highly recommend it. It's actually not that expensive to go. I've seen an orchestra and I also seen an opera, and I think I paid like $20-$30 for my ticket. Granted, I wasn't super close to like the music. I still could hear it and see it really well. And if you get closer, I think the closer seats are like for fellow musicians, like, oh, I'm studying. Like, when I went to see Hilary Hahn and when I went to see Maxim Vengerov, they're like some of my favorite violinists. I really got to study what they do with their bow. When I was first starting out with violin, I would, just look at the fingers, like how they're moving their fingers across the strings. And I didn't realize that without the bow technique, no matter how well they, played those notes or pressed the strings, it would completely transform the sound and could, make it sound not as good or make it sound better depending on the bowing technique. So you got like up bow staccato, you got detaché. There's like many different ways to use this stick that has horsehair on it. It's really interesting. But there's a lot of ego. I'm going back to the main point I was saying. There's a lot of ego involved in being an adult musician. It's like, and I'm not comparing myself to children who started in middle school or even earlier, 5-year-old, 4-year-old, violinist. It's more so, all right, I'm 20, 30, 40 years old, 50 years old. I comprehend what it takes to make this sound. I'm going to mimic it and it should come out. And it just doesn't. And you're just trying to figure out, like, maybe it's my instrument. Maybe my teacher sucks if you have a teacher. Maybe, I should buy new strings. Like, we don't necessarily blame ourselves or our technique because we really believe that we're doing all the right things. I wasn't like that as a beginner violinist though. Once I decided that I'm not going to play a saxophone's fun, but I just didn't have any passion when I played it. It was just there. Piano was amazing, but I didn't enjoy getting my left and right hands to cooperate with each other and getting my left hands to do big chord stretches. It didn't really make me happy. But when I played violin, it was the hardest instrument of them all. Besides the flute, I could barely make the flute make a good sound. I hated the flute. Love listening to the flute. Love watching people play it. I can't stand playing it. I think that I just was not born to play that instrument. But the violin was harder than most of those instruments, but I had so much joy. I felt so good when I finally produced a decent sound. But my first sounds weren't bad. They just weren't the sound and the vision that I had. So at first, I made the mistake of obsessing over my tone. I didn't know what I needed to do to produce that tone, but you know, more bow, faster bow, lighter pressure on the bow. I was looking up contact point, how close do I need to be to the bridge? Maybe vibrato will hide my shaking bow. I just, I didn't care what I had to do. I just wanted that sound. And once I was able to get like some decent notes, I was like, all right, let me actually start combining music theory a little bit with, my playing. So I'm like, all right, I know the strings, a G string, a D string, an A string, and an E string. All right, this is first position. First position on violin is like 3 or 4 fingers on each string. And as you move down the fingerboard, that's your second, third, fourth, and it just goes all the way where you're getting these super high notes. And the lowest note, obviously, is a G, which is on the G string. And I was learning how to connect what I'm seeing on the sheet music versus what and where it needs to be on the violin. And for some reason, having frets like on a guitar confused me more than not having frets. It's very strange. But my first music teacher was a piano teacher. And I was like, can we just jam? I don't know if I'm gonna play piano anymore. I think I'm just gonna stick to violin. I was obsessed with violin. At the time, I just started watching Two Set Violin. They're like some of my favorite YouTubers. They really make classical music funny and approachable and modern for like, my age group and younger, millennials and everybody younger. And they really keep up with trends and keep up with times, but they also have their own brand of comedy. And it's like sometimes they don't realize how funny they are, so it just makes it even funnier. I was just falling in love with the instrument. I was researching all the different violinists. I was trying to go see them at their concertos. I was learning about all the parts, watching people open violins up and put them back together, build them and carve them. And I never felt that way about anything, really. Like, I get obsessed with things and I learn as much as I can, but it's always a fleeting thing. But years later, and I still look at those videos, I'm still interested in what makes this instrument tick, learning about Stradivarius, learning about Cremona, Italy, the birthplace of violin. I'm going to be seeing another concerto next month. The excitement and the love never died, but my motivation did die at one point. My violins were collecting dust. The moisture changed so much in my apartment that one of my strings popped. And that was my breaking point. I was like, you still love this instrument. You still love the music. Like, when you're done listening to metal, Lamb of God, Dying Fetus, you listen to Mozart. You listen to Tchaikovsky. You listen to Fanny Mendelssohn. Because everybody knows about Felix Mendelssohn, but Fanny Mendelssohn is the GOAT. But I still listen to these classical, romantic, and, Vivaldi and Bach, the Baroque music. And I still love it the same as I did when I first became more obsessed with it. And I pulled my violin out, and, my violins, I have 2 of them just in case one of them needs repair. And they both need repair, but one of them needed a little bit more maintenance. So I got a new bridge, some new strings, I got my bow rehaired, and the fire started burning in me again. Like, don't stop trying. And that's what I think separates children from adults. Children, if they have that same passion, nothing's gonna stop them. If they're not making progress, they don't care. They're gonna keep playing. I stopped making progress, or at least I thought I was, and I just slowly stopped playing. But I never wanted to sell my instruments. I never wanted to give up, but it was like a soft quit. But I'm back at it. I'm really enjoying it. And I've decided that I'm gonna take lessons again. I don't know if I'm gonna put a lot of my process on the channel because, to be honest, I just don't feel super confident with my musicianship. Most of my creativity is in drawing and painting. That's where my confidence is. But yesterday, I bought like a cooking timer, and I timed each part of my practice into different segments, and I was so organized. I even bought a journal to write down my practice process, and I played better than I've played in years. I felt so confident. I used the metronome. I always forget to use the metronome, or I don't feel confident enough being able to play in rhythm with it. But yesterday, I went and got it. And after this video, I'm gonna do another hour of practice. And I realized that when I'm organized, an hour of practice, I make more progress than practicing for 3 or 4 hours aimlessly. That was the thing too. As an adult, I just aimlessly play. Or I need to play scales. I should play arpeggios. I should play etudes. I know I should do all these things, and I aimlessly just do one or do two. And with this new practice, it's an old practice routine, but for me, it's new. I've never decided to get that organized. I'm not a very organized person, but I try to organize my manga and organize my things. But the way that I do things is very disorganized. I blame the ADHD. It made a huge difference, and I'm gonna keep it up. I want to at least tune my instrument every day to make sure that my new strings don't pop. But also, here's the thing for adults, like if something is in sight, and this is not only for ADHD people, but anybody, neurodivergent, neurotypical, if what you need to do is in sight, I don't know the exact percentage, but there's a higher percentage that you're just going to do it. It's like when you come into your house in your living room, your TV is in sight, it's right there. So that chair looks comfortable. I've been working for 10 hours, sit down, grab my remote. But when I come into my apartment, my violin is there too. And I'm like, I should play. I really should. And then I got my notebook. I got my metronomes in my phone. I try not to keep too many things in my phone because I don't want to doom scroll while practicing. So my timer, I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh, I'm running out of time. And it kind of forces me to like get focused because I don't think about wasting time when I can't see it. I'm gonna buy a big clock to put somewhere too, because these visual cues keep me in line, almost like traffic lights and lane dividers, like the paint that divides the lanes on the road. Without those things, it would just be chaos on the road. Yet those things really can't control how you drive, but the visual aid helps you. It guides you, and I think these visual aids that I'm creating for myself really guiding me. But as an adult beginner, we work, and I work a lot, dog. Like I do overtime as much as I can just so I can afford to upgrade my instruments or have maintenance done to my instruments, and just to be able to have time on the weekend to play my instrument. Like I've got enough money to pay my bills. Because if I don't work enough, then it's like, I don't know. When I got bills hanging over my head, it's hard to focus on anything. So being an adult musician as a starter sucks. But the odds are against you, and it kind of makes you an underdog. So I say, if you're, I don't know, 30, 40, 20 years old, a late teen in high school, because that's considered old if you're a violinist. Most violinists start in elementary school if they want to take it seriously and go far. Just do it. Just grab the instrument, blow the money. Worst case scenario, you wasted money and you hate the instrument. I did, but I don't know, you take the instruments to a pawn shop and get a little bit of money back. But there's nothing like trying an artistic endeavor. Artists too, like if you've never drawn before and you're sick of drawing stick figures, do some research. Don't do AI. AI is trash. Just grab a paintbrush and just, I don't know, watch Bob Ross and like just get it in. Grab a violin, grab a cello, grab a piano. I'm sure it's a lot harder to grab a piano, but you got keyboards. Pull out that sheet music, look at it, let it scare you a little bit. Download some apps on your phone, do the research. It's worth it. I think you're gonna have a great time. And don't let ego, like, oh, I should be able to do this. Don't let your frustrations stop you from that sound that you want or that image in your head that you want to create. Just enjoy yourself. Enjoy the process, because you're not gonna be trash forever. And you might not even start off as trash. So enjoy the destination, of course, but enjoy the route getting there. Look at the scenery. With that being said, thank you so much for checking out another video. I'm signing out. Peace.